Ask the Mayor. Your chance to ask the Mayor of Weymouth, Bob Headland, questions about the town and or anything else that you have concerns about. Ask the Mayor is pre-recorded. And now, Ask the Mayor with Bob Headland.
Hey, welcome back once again to another episode of Ask the Mayor. I'm Jim Melody, your citizen advocate and inquisitor, and I'm joined, as always, by the mayor of our fine town of Weymouth, Mr. Robert Headland. Bob, how are you this afternoon?
Good, Jim.
Phenomenal. We are still reeling from the events of this past month. We are in the month of July in 2018, and certainly the town has...
Taping in July.
Taping
This
in
will
July.
air in August.
Thank you.
Yep.
But,
And we didn't get to many questions because we had a lot to talk about with the tragedy of July 15th, but I know you had indicated we had a record number of questions that came in.
That is an accurate statement.
What do you think we dive right into that?
Here we go. Let's get right into them. We'll try to get through as many as possible. So, Bob, this first one comes from Marge, and it relates to the large item pickup. Dear Mayor Bob, I would like to second the opinion that you were doing a great job for the town. Thank you. And thank you. My issue is that I recently replaced a vanity and toilet in my bathroom. When I called for pickup, I was told that they would not take these items as the rubbish company considers them construction debris. I called DPW and was told either to hire someone to take them away or deliver it myself to a place in Brockton. I'm sure Brockton's thrilled about that. Are we not supposed to update our homes or replace an item that has become damaged? The dump has long been closed, as we all know, and are we now expected to dispose of selected trash at the discretion of a company that we paid to remove said trash? Thank you, Marge West. Wow, this is a new one. So what are your thoughts on that? Because there is a large item pickup. You call and they come and pick them up? I thought the DPW did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's for household items.
Furniture, I've seen couches and such.
I think the expectation is that a contractor removes as part of his job. Did she say she did the work herself?
My issue that she doesn't make it clear. I recently replaced a vanity and toilet in my bathroom, so I'm not sure who did the work.
Well, don't go up to Jim Melody's favorite spot and dump it in the woods. That would be question number one.
You made a comment, by the way, on the last show about people littering in this town. I don't think I've seen anybody litter in 20 years. There's a lot of litter in this town, huh? You know, somebody throwing a piece of paper out of...
You don't see stuff on the side
Well,
of the road.
I do, but I just have never actually seen anybody do it, you know?
Right. So we actually got a question about trash before, which led to us kind of rejiggering yard waste. We had a lot of questions on that. I think this has not arisen in the 2.5 years I've been mayor. I've never had this question before. I know that the idea, again, as I said, if a contractor is doing work, the contractor would be expected to, do that as part. If you're doing home improvement, I don't know what to tell you on this one, but we try to be all things to all people. We do have trash curbside pickup. We do the yard waste pickup. We do the large item pickup. Trash is a headache. We just signed a new contract with our existing vendor, by the way.
Oh, we do it with Easy, huh?
We're getting squeezed. Costs are going up, but we've held the line against passing on the increase and adding to the trash fee that's been existing in this town for a long time, even though we're now eating and absorbing an increase because of the fact, and mostly on the recyclable end because China's not taking stuff. I know I'm getting off the main point of her question, but I don't have a good answer for her other than maybe, smash that toilet up in little pieces and put it in a container.
One of the most famous comments that you've made
Wear
on this show.
Wear safety glasses when you do that.
As we now are taping our 51st episode, Bob, one of the most oft remarked on comments that you made in the history of this show, when I'm walking around town, you made a comment one time about sometimes you throw your trash in your neighbor's trash barrel just because it's convenient. And what's the big deal? We're all getting picked up. It's a cost to that person. But people give me some comments on that pretty right. And I thought
that was a pretty accepted practice in a lot of neighborhoods.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's no extra dough associated with it, that's for sure, to the individual.
So I'll double check on that, but I think that's the expectation is that we draw the line at
construction debris.
Construction debris.
Interesting. I think your advice was prudent. Smash it into small pieces. All right, this is regarding the zip trip.
You have some guys that will do the pickup at minimal cost. I mean, it's not, probably not much more than it would cost you to go to the transfer station in Brockton and deal with it. You can probably, find a removal company that'll do it.
There's several that patrol the neighborhood unsolicited that go pick
Well, they're
through
looking
your garbage
for
sometimes too.
scrap metal.
Oh, it's metal. Okay, what the heck?
I don't think there's recyclable value in an old toilet.
Well, Brockton may haggle with you on that thought.
At 8-9, at 9:40 here, 9 minute and 40, 1 minute and 2, 9 minute and 2, 2 minute and here and 3, now 4:44.
Well, Bob, there has been quite a bit going on in this town, and a lot, as usual, most of it's positive. We haven't actually commented on the big Zip trip that came down when our friends from Fox Television visited, and our good buddy Jason Thayer wrote in with a comment, written in with a comment. Hi, Mayor. I attended Zip trip today, Weymouth, and could not believe how you brought Weymouth's community together. It was a morning of Weymouth coming together and feeling a pride. I absolutely felt people being excited about you and your administration and what they're doing to this town. It's amazing. Just want to say thank you and keep it coming. From Thaxter, can you talk about that day? That was big doings when Fox came down to Level.
Yeah.
Now, how did that get organized? Did you reach out to them, or did they reach out to you guys?
No, they reached out to us.
Great.
And, we coordinated with them, and there's a lot of logistical stuff, obviously,
Sure.
with all of the
Do
stuff
you
that
pick the
went on.
location? Do you suggest locations for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they did a Zip trip to town before, and I think it was out front here, right? I wasn't there that time. I don't know how long ago that was, 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was. 10? No, longer. Somewhere between 3 and 10. I've been mayor for almost 3, Mary, and it hasn't been within that period of time. It was a ways back, but no, it went well. They were good to work with, and Gene Levanchi has a little connection to Weymouth.
Oh, okay.
So he was excited, and I've known him for a while. So he and I, talked leading up to it, so it went well. I stumbled the music question, though, believe it or not.
Oh, you got some time on camera. That's right.
And music's usually in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And he said, what song would describe Weymouth? And it caught me totally off guard. That would have been one I would like to have put some thought into, but it was the rapid fire thing.
Well, now that you have a moment, what would be your answer?
Let's get to the next
we're moving
question.
on. Okay.
It's Christmas in Weymouth tonight.
Okay, excellent.
What I came up with was all right, but we got a lot of questions.
Just talk about attendance real quick down there. Was it packed? Did people come out?
Well, it was a 4-hour thing, so
Sure.
some
Cycling
people were
through.
there before work, so it was real rotating, but it was a good turnout. Yeah.
Sure. Oh, it sounds awesome.
And it showed Weymouth in a very good light, which we appreciate.
Yeah,
And it highlighted the work at Lovell too. That was a great opportunity to highlight that.
Yeah, as I think some of my kids are playing with us.
By the way, Kukla's House of Values or Kukla's House of Deals. You remember that store, Jim?
I do not.
It wasn't far from where you grew up.
Okay.
That was owned by a member of Levanchi's family.
Oh, no
I
kidding.
think it was in Jackson Square. All right, next question. Let's go.
Just very quickly, the name of that
Very
field.
slowly,
What's the
you
name
mean?
of what's the name of that field?
Lovell.
Level. I remember, my daughter plays on this soccer team where there's mostly people from non-Weymouth residents. The amount of ways people mispronounce Level, Louvel, Levy, Level, it's hysterical. When you hear, we're meeting down at Louvel. Where the hell is that place? It's hysterical.
Kind of like citizen advocates. Citizen
You assigned me those names.
All
Mayor Bob. This is from a friend of ours named Giuseppe Gentilucci. I don't know if you're familiar with Giuseppe. Mayor Bob, why is it the town can't insist that National Grid use a contractor that actually knows how to repair a street properly after it's been opened? Between National Grid, who runs an operation with more leaks than the White House, and their current contractor, who would have difficulty filling a divot in a public golf course, many of our roads are in sad shape despite the good work your administration is doing to repave our streets. Giuseppe G. P.S. Could you have the DPW take a look at the sidewalks at the intersection of Howard and Neck Street? They're just about impassable, especially the one on Curtis Street. Thank you very much from
I don't even know
Giuseppe
what
G.
Howard Street is, do you?
When he said
You
Curtis
pass by
Street,
Howard on your way to Great Hill?
well, all roads lead to Great Hill in this town. I do know where Curtis Street is, right outside of Jackson Square. So I'm guessing they got to be somewhere in that neighborhood, right? Howard and Neck. But Neck sounds like North Weymouth.
Correct.
Okay. So all right.
All right, so
You're the mayor. I'm just the inquisitor.
I appreciate the creative style that he has written.
Okay.
Give me the line again about divots in a golf.
He says that the contractor for National Grid would have difficulty filling a divot in a public golf course. Should follow me around. They'd have a lot of work.
So, yeah, I mean, like Broad Street, for instance, that was a very horrible patch job, but it was a bad street to try to patch to begin with.
Okay.
But we knew that immediately upon conclusion of the work, which unfortunately happened during the time the asphalt plants are closed, we knew we were jumping on that job right away,
Oh, that's
which
a
we
big
did.
deal in asphalt repair, isn't it? Isn't asphalt accessibility, availability?
But generally why you don't see paving done in freezing weather.
Okay.
You know? So, you know, the gas company, I have to say, was great in that discussion on Broad Street, for instance. I'll give a couple of examples, but he mentioned Union Street, I'll get to in a minute. There's a lot of cover they have under state law in terms of what they need to do after they replace a gas line or open up a street.
Oh, is that what's going on?
And we
in
don't
Union
have
Street?
a lot of leverage.
Is that a gas line?
We
Okay,
actually,
sorry.
in the previous show, talked about it, Jim. You must have not been paying attention.
I try to pay attention.
Broad Street was sorely needed infrastructure replacement, gas line replacement. When I came into office, the town of Weymouth, we had over 500 gas leaks identified in this town.
And they're all buried, right?
Correct.
Gas leak. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
As we stand now, 2.5 years later, 350 gas leaks have been fixed in this town.
Holy smokes.
Broad Street had a huge number of gas leaks. Okay, so that was long overdue for that replacement job. That's done. We knew the timing was such that we just had to live with that patch job the way it was because we knew we were going to jump on that the day the asphalt plants opened. And I have to say, Grid was good to negotiate with on the price because when we negotiate with them on what we're going to do, we just didn't want a trench. We wanted to go curb to curb on Broad Street. It's a major road. Yeah. Legally, all they had to do was
the patch,
replace the trench.
Okay.
Or at the most, go half across the road. Okay. Because of the protections they have under state law. We negotiated with them, and we got them to agree to pay us, and then we did the paving job. And the number we arrived at, I thought, was reasonable on their part. Union Street is a whole other thing, which we're going to talk about for the 50th time. A high-ranking official, one of the highest-ranking officials from National Grid locally was in this room today, as of this taping, to talk about Union Street, okay? Because we're not happy with it. Now, my DPW director insists that Union Street's patchwork isn't as bad as Broad Street was, but nonetheless, it's a pain. I hate it. And I know that's your end of town. So we are working with them to accelerate that project and get the darn thing done. I could do a whole show on this. Once they're moving up to Liberty Street later, and Liberty Street is not only getting gas line, but it's getting sewer infrastructure work. So what I'm hoping to do is at least get Union Street done and get it paved. Getting pushback on that because they want to pave the whole thing straight down into Liberty Street when that's done, but I don't want to live with Union Street the way it is as longer than we need to. So we're discussing that with them now. They were great today. They were excellent today. Now I know they got the strike going on, and for me to sit here and say they're great, I want to make sure I'm talking about just the discussions as it relates to fixing Union Street and not anything to do with labor negotiations. So we're hoping to get that wrapped up. And if need be, if the complete paving isn't done as quick as we like, they've agreed that they're going to get on the contractor to fix the patchwork. So that's where we are at Union Street. And if I get asked the question again, can we just rerun this tape?
You know I'm not blessed with the gift of brevity, so here's my comment on what's going on at Union Street driving down the road.
Two words.
Holy you better have a big truck.
There's no benefit to Weymouth from that work. You know that?
Oh my God.
That's all gas going south of us. You know we're not getting any of that gas.
You're kidding. Oh man.
That's all gas going south of us, necessitated by the work on Route 18 and the bridge replacement.
Holy
And I won't get into why,
smokes.
but it's beyond our control.
So we arguably can look forward to that road being repaved at some point once that work's all done.
We want the work done so that we can do that, and that's one of the things we discussed today. Woo. And needless to say, things are in disarray with the strike and what work they are getting done and not getting done.
Sure.
So.
Well, listen, as we're making our way through another episode of Ask the Mayor, we want to remind everybody, as always, to keep the questions coming to AskMayorBob@gmail.com. AskMayorBob@gmail.com. We've got a lot of great questions, Bob. Let's keep rolling. This one's titled Republican Committee from Suzanne Torres. I recently gave a donation to the Republican National Committee. It was enough to make me a member. Melanie Trump sent me a thank you note for joining the party.
Melania.
Sorry, Melanie. It's typed, it's Melanie, and I was...
You're allowed to edit.
Did I tell you I was going to marry a girl named Melanie at one point? All right, would you know, Mayor Bob, what this means practically speaking? Am I automatically invited to Republican get-togethers? I presume they're at your house. Will I be on a mailing list? I am not in the know about these matters. I know the office of the mayor is not a political party, so I'm sure, but I am sure that you can answer. Thanks in advance for either way. You are doing a great job. From Suzanne Torres on Broad Street. I'm sure she's happy with their paved road.
It means that she gets one free night in the Lincoln bedroom at the White House.
That's Obama, not Trump. Was that Clinton?
I think what it means is, I don't know what the funding goes for, but now she's on a mailing list and she'll probably get more solicitations.
Yeah,
that's
probably
what it
from
means.
everybody in every cause going on. Are you a clumsy segue as always? But do you? I know when you run for mayor, you don't run as an affiliated party person, right? You run as an independent. Is that true?
All
in
of
this
the
town?
municipal positions in this town are nonpartisan positions that are elected.
So, what is your status officially? Are you an independent, or do you maintain your Republican status?
I'm the mayor of Weymouth.
So, but party affiliation.
It's a nonpartisan position.
Right, but you
It's a
you've cut the
nonpartisan
cord.
position.
Okay, so I'm going to move on then. I think that's your way of saying, let's move on.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
All right, this one's regarding Moore Road from Catherine O'Brien. Do you know where Moore Road is? Because you know I don't.
I know where Moore Road is, and we've had this question before.
All right, and the upgrade of Moore Road, anywhere on the horizon?
No.
It's one big pothole. As you know, Xfinity is one of the companies on Moore Road, so it gets a lot of traffic. Please look into it. I am all for a spinoff with Jim Melanie. Kudos. We read these for the first time to everybody here. I'm looking forward to my own show.
So that would, if this were All in the Family, that would make you the Jefferson.
Yeah.
Moving on up to the side.
I'd like to think of myself as Mike and you're Archie.
Moore Road.
Where is Moore Road?
She just told you.
I don't get it. Your hangout. Sorry.
Moore Road is a private way.
Okay.
Moore Road is not owned by the town of Weymouth. I cannot use state paving money to pave private roads and private ways. This town has way too many private ways. We've talked about this ad nauseum in the past too, so I'm going to be very brief, but we have 300 or so private ways. I don't think this is an issue that's been dealt with. We are dealing with it. We are attempting to accept ways that are up to standards to be public ways, and we've done that actively. We're paving some private ways with non-state money. We just did Linden Circle, and Tilden Circle and Tilden Road, and a couple others.
Just past
it's a long,
Lucas
involved
Circle?
legal process for us to do it, and we are predominantly doing that with private ways that are residential roads that are being done for certain circumstances that fit criteria-wise, a criteria that we've put forward that we've shared with the town council. This is a commercial industrial area that's privately owned. We are willing to, and we put this forward to the landlords down there, and we're getting cooperation from some but not all. And we can get around a few holdouts if we get 75% sign off, but we are willing to do a betterment program down there. We are willing to pave the road and assess the landowners a betterment charge to bring the road up to public way legal standards and pave it. That's where we're at.
There we go. Then we're going to keep moving down the line here, and this one's about Wegmans. I guess it's a commercial thought here. Mr. Mayor, what are your thoughts about getting a Wegmans into the spot that Market Basket was looking into next to P10? Sure, the feasibility study that was done for Market Basket can provide some easy metrics to heighten the interest for other businesses like Wegmans, ideally. Does your office have any ability to motivate or attract beneficial businesses for redevelopment purposes like this? What can we do? Please, my wife needs a Wegman like fish needs water. That's from Mike Lee. He's a Wegmans fan. Have you ever been in a Wegmans?
I wonder if that's Mike Lee that ran for mayor at one time.
I couldn't say.
Probably not.
But have you been to a Wegmans before?
No.
They're phenomenal. And what role does your office play in attracting businesses?
Well, we do that actively. I mean, we got negotiations going on right now with a couple big tenants for the town. Obviously, we're
In that
working
space
with Grove
specifically?
Drive. Well, we at length on this show, Jim, talked about
I'm
market
very,
basket
very
going in
familiar
there.
with that.
So
that
without
part of it all.
revisiting,
Yes.
and I assume that the person
I think this
saw
was
that,
in response
and this
to
is
that.
a
Exactly.
follow-up to
Yeah.
that. So, yes, we actively recruit businesses for Weymouth.
But I always thought you were reactive, not proactive, though. Like when they were looking at the space, then they'd reach out to your office.
Sometimes
and you
we're
guys,
reactive,
Okay.
sometimes we're proactive. In that case, we were both in that case.
Okay.
I mean, we would love to have seen a market basket, and we were proactive. And sure enough, the landlord came back to us with a concept that Market Basket wanted to participate in. And we met all the conditions that they laid out, and then there was one last minute thing between him and the landlord and another tenant. We couldn't make it happen. So I will say this. We've learned from dealing with Union Point, who has tried to recruit a Wegmans, what Wegmans' requirements are. And they have guidelines in terms of proximity to highway interchanges, parking lot size, square footage needs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it appears as though that site does not fit their criteria, nor does Union Point fit their criteria. Now, that criteria could change later if we have full build out at Union Point, but I will tell you this. The Union Point guys threw a sweet deal on the table for them and actively recruited Wegmans, an incredible deal. It just doesn't fit their standards, their way they approach it.
Sure.
And they like big parking lots, you know.
They sure can have one over at Union Point.
But it didn't.
Whatever their parameters are, it didn't work.
The parameters that were put forward out there I thought were great, but it didn't fit for other reasons. But to try to get around those parameters, the Union Point people got very creative and offered them something that was outside their comfort zone, but was extremely creative and didn't work for them.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on right to the next question.
They don't like it was. I think what was proposed was they would be on the first floor of a large building, and they didn't want something on top of them.
Well, how about a perfect segue?
Even if it was people living there that will come down and shop there, they still didn't want it.
Interesting. All right, well, this one comes from Patrick Englund, Bob, and it's a stitch in time. Mayor Hedlund and Citizen Advocate Inquisitor Jim Melody, can you provide an update on the ProDrive Technologies project at Union Point and the DeLagus project in the Landing? Thank you, from Patrick Englund. So what's going on with ProDrive?
Well, DeLagus first, because it's brief. Finally got a project permitted, which I know he's aware of. I think he actually may have even attended the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. And then this issue with the Army Corps of Engineers and a drainage easement that goes under that property as part of the flood control project from Pond Meadow Park goes through there.
Wow.
And that created some issues with the way the foundation was going to have to be built, and it put a big added cost. And he was also working to find the appropriate contractor. Now, we actually recommended someone to him that's worked out really good for him. He's kind of in a niche area where he's too big for a lot of local GCs, or construction managers, and he's too small for the big players, and everyone's busy. But through an acquaintance I knew, we asked him another firm to look at it, and they've helped him a lot. They came back and said, you know what, to get around this, we think we have a better configuration. Foundation-wise, we avoid some of the problems. Gives you, and they came back with another conceptual plan that was awesome. Is better than what's permitted. Better from a traffic standpoint, ease and exit of the site, a more compact footprint, more parking, excellent design. So basically, he now is going to have to start his permitting process all over again, and he's coming back with a little bit of a smaller project, but fits better and everything. But he's still working out performers and issues with that Army Corps easement. So that's where he's at. We are hopeful that he would be in a position to break ground in the spring on the construction itself. That's our hope.
Okay.
And
then Union
ProDrive,
Point, yeah.
ProDrive is on target. I mean, everything that we've been talking about with them is still on target. The setback came with prices that came back. I think that the setbacks have been documented on the show before, but I think that we are looking at groundbreaking this fall.
Excellent. And how many people are they expected to employ out of the gate? Is there a number there that they're working with?
I forgot the numbers. Full employment in the hundreds and hundreds.
Stay tuned.
And the square footage. The good news is they've tweaked their plan a little bit, that they actually want to do a bigger first phase build out. So we've been interrupted with that tune in the past. So the good news is it's still on target. We were hoping for a summer groundbreaking, but that's been delayed. But the good news is that the first phase is going to be bigger than what they thought they needed because of where they are as a business and as a company and the demand in the U.S.
There we go. Do we have time for
Yeah,
one
we
more
do.
question, guys, before we wrap this up? Right, well, we want to remind everybody to
We got
send
time
the
for more
questions
than
at
one if I'm quick.
AskMayorBob@gmail.com. Well, this one comes from another good friend of ours, Mark Reddish, and Mark writes in, good afternoon, Mayor and Jim. Was curious how the deal was formed between the town and South Shore Hospital regarding the ambulance service that they provide. Noticing all the new vehicles has caught my curiosity. Also, the show may be getting a tad stale and feel like taking it on the road and broadcasting remotely from various sites in town that the mayor has his fingerprints on, like Osprey Overlook, Level Field, or the Abigail Adams House, would be great. Keep up the good work. Mark Reddish.
You know what I'd like to do is, with the acquiescence of WETC, do a live show audience, like invite our regular viewers.
Oh, that
anyone
sounds
else that
fun.
wants to come in, and we just
Sure.
take questions on the cuff from viewers, and you film it live. What do you think?
I love the idea.
Well,
All right.
there
so
we have it.
Thank
you, Mark.
That may liven it up, and what he's freshen it up because he said we're getting stale.
Well, you know, so to
Okay,
each
and then
his
the other
own.
part, the ambulance.
The South Shore Hospital.
I
I've seen some of those ambulances too. They look great.
They do, but he's asking about the process, I think.
Was curious how the deal was formed between the town and South Shore Hospital regarding the ambulance service that they provide. He notices all the new vehicles.
Five-member committee that reviewed the bids, and they unanimously chose South Shore Hospital. They came in with a real unique concept. So far, so good. They've been the vendor now for almost a month, and we're getting good feedback thus far. I would love to see a development update piece on this that WETC could do to kind of bring us up to speed and get some good footage showing. I think did you guys do the press conference out front when they were here? No. They could explain some of their new equipment that they have, some of the state-of-the-art stuff that they put on the road, and what their concept is, which is a little bit different than what traditional ambulancing has been. And I think that'd be of interest to people like Mr. Reddish and others that watch the show.
And
Let's do one
well,
more.
I'm trying to recall, don't they have like Weymouth on their ambulances now? I thought it looked very uniquely like
Yeah, they
distinctive
put
to
the
Weymouth.
town seal on there
That,
because
maybe
they
that's what
are
it
our
was.
vendor.
All right,
I
again,
like that.
trying to be quickly, trying to move quick. Clarification on child care program is the headline on this one, Bob.
Oh, we're out of time.
That's all, folks.
Oh, good morning, Mayor. I've been a lifelong resident for 51 years and a Weymouth business owner for 23. I enjoy watching your show. It's always informative and thought-provoking. The lighthearted banter is engaging and funny. A few weeks ago, you were all trying to recall the name of the child care program located on Church Street. I've been the owner and director of Just Right Child Care on Church Street for 23 years. Just wanted to send along this note of clarification because during the show, the name remembered was the John Adams School, which has not been in decades. Thanks for all the great
So
improvements
give
in our
a
town.
shout out to the name of it one more time,
Keep up
Jim.
the good work. This is from Jan Gildea, who is the owner of Just Right Child Care,
That's right,
apparently.
Chappie. So do you remember? I'm going to put you to the test. Do you remember
Okay.
what sparked that comment?
I believe it's the one down in the Heights, is it not? And I
But do you
think we were
remember
talking
how-
about the reduction in elementary schools in this town, wasn't it?
Nope.
From when we were younger, and the population disbursement.
Nope. Somebody asked a question about the Weymouth Heights sign again.
Okay. Oh,
And
boy.
we got talking, and I mentioned that when I was a fairly newborn youngster, that my parents almost bought a house, and that would have been my grammar school. Remember we got talking
Oh,
about
yeah, I do. I do. And Bob Ambler, the Ambler home was originally right beside that property, if you recall correctly. It was right on.
that? Oh, he
yeah.
was across the street, right?
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, that was his neighborhood. Well, listen, I think we're looking at the producers who are giving us
He also lived on Longwood Road. He also lived on Chester Road.
yeah, you're a big fan, I know. Yeah, but that was his first big victory for those who don't recall. Well, listen, we want to thank everybody once again for tuning in to Ask the Mayor with the Mayor, Robbie Hedlund. I'm Jim Melody, your citizen advocate and inquisitor. And once again, we remind you to stay tuned for I Dream a Genie.
That works.
Thanks, great. Have a great day, everybody.
have a question, please email the mayor at askmayorbob@gmail.com. That's askmayorbob@gmail.com. Maybe your question will be answered on the next episode of Ask the Mayor.